All right. Good afternoon, all attendees. My name is Harry Ma. I'm one of the investment managers here at Sharewise. Today's a very exciting webinar. It's our first webinar with a US listed company. Today we're joined by CEO of Valens Semiconductor, Gideon Ben-Zvi. So Gideon, good morning for you.
Good morning, and I'm pleased to be here with you, with your audience.
Absolutely.
And yeah, the floor is yours, please.
Yeah, of course. And today with Gideon, we're going to go through a few key topics, including obviously an introduction to the company, the total addressable market for the business, new opportunities, and the 5-year outlook, their core differentiator, so their competitive advantage, as well as recent design wins as well. So Gideon, I understand you want to share your screen and go through a few points to start off, and then we will kick off with a bit more in-depth questions as well. And with our participants, obviously, we encourage as many questions as possible. So if you do have any questions, please put them in our Q&A box at the bottom. Otherwise, yeah, Gideon, over to you.
Yeah, great. Do you all see the screen?
Yes.
Great. Good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to be here and tell you a little bit about Valens, very exciting company, at least to my taste. So here we are. Company is a semiconductor company. Our model is what's called a fabless model. We are designing everything and it's produced in TSMC. We are 17 years of innovation, listed under the tag name VLN. We have 260 employees. So far, more than 40 million chips being sold all over the world. Each of you meet our chips almost daily, and I will tell you where. And we had $84 million revenues in 2023. We have 2 global industry standards that invented in Valens and became world industry standard. We own 120 patents and growing, hundreds of customers and growing, and we are reaching and looking after a market of $5 billion total available market. And this is where we are. We have the highest bandwidths. We produce the world's highest bandwidths in long-reach connectivity on wires. The longest reach, we can achieve very, very long reach of wire. And we're speaking about standard wires. We're not harness manufacturers and not cables manufacturers. We do the chips on both sides. And this also gives us to have the world's lowest error rate. And it's actually all one technology. It's technology of noise cancellation that allows us to reach those numbers and those features. And before we, I would now stop share and I would just explain to you how do we do it.
Sounds good.
Please, yeah. Sorry, Harry, did you say something?
No, I was saying, yeah, of course, you can stop the share and you can explain.
Yeah. So the way we do it is as follows. I will take you from the world of chips from a few minutes to world of water. Think about a house located in a very rainy place. It can handle 20 millimeters of rain every night, 30, whatever. And the way to handle it is by isolate the house very, very well. And then you have a storm and there is 100 and 200 millimeters a night. There is no way the isolation would work. There will be a leakage of water into the house. And then you cannot further and further isolate it because the whole house would be one isolation. You cannot get in and out. And the only way is to let the water in and take them out like a drain or a gutter. And that's what we do. Now, let's take it from the world of semiconductor. There is a level of errors, of mistakes because of the noise outside. The noise can be the length of the cable, the quality of the cable, or electromagnetic influence. And then the level goes far, far higher because of whatever the reason is. And the way to handle it is to let the mistakes and the errors get into the harness and correct them and resend them. And that's what we do. And this is what is called a mixed signal in our case. We have both the analog, which is the isolation from the mistake, and the digital, which is correcting the mistakes. And this is the patents and the technology all around Valens Semiconductor. That's what we do. Okay. And we do it in several applications. such as the audio video where we started, and most of you meet us in any conference room or a lot of medical devices that need to remote the patient from the machine or the technician from the patient. Excuse me. You have it in automotive lately, where you need to remote the camera, or you need a camera which is very remote relatively from the ECU, from the computer. So when the car goes and you have an ADAS system, that's the electromagnetic influence that can come from just an innocent cellular antenna will not stop the ADAS, and you will not miss the red light or the small child that is passing through the street in a certain distance. This is what Valens does. This noise cancellation and the ability actually not to cancel, correct the noise and correct the mistakes, it is all what Valens is doing. And we are having it in several applications, but we're sticking to one core, which is what you just described.
Yeah, perfect. And thank you, Gideon, for giving a broad sort of outlook and an overview, of what the company does. I'm sure a lot of our attendees would be familiar, but some might not be familiar. Obviously, yeah, as you said, Valens Semiconductor is a chip maker with $5.5 billion total addressable market. As you said, your key sort of components, key sort of industries have been audio, video, and automotive, right? Now, you reported that the total addressable market for Valens within automotive alone is expected to reach around $4.5 billion by 2029. Now, what do you think are the key drivers behind this sort of growth?
Okay, let's speak about the automotive industry. Let's take the number about between 95 and 100 million vehicles produced every year. And the number of radars and the sensors for cameras is increasing towards 10 to 14. Everyone has its own calculation. It can be between 8 and 16, but we'll take a rough number of 12 as the average. This is 1.2 billion links every year. A link is what connects a camera or a radar to the computer of the car that calculates what happens every second in order to help either with ADAS or autonomous vehicle. Doesn't matter, as long as the assistance for the driver, if he exists or does not exist, are cameras and sensors. They need to be connected. They need to be very accurate, and each of those links has a transmitter that takes what was given by the camera or by the radar and send it to the computer to calculate it. That's called a link. And every link we estimated anywhere between $4 and $5, and this is how we got this total available market number for the automotive industry. It is not the only industry we're working for, and I must say it will never be the most profitable industry, automotive, but it is this is a market which is a very, very big market, and the stickiness to in this market is very high, because once you're in a model, it's spread into all the model vehicles.
Yeah, perfect. And I know, Gideon, the 5-year plan that you have for Valens Semiconductor is quite in depth, and you've outlined it's very ambitious, of course. There's a lot of large new opportunities in new industries as well that I believe you're trying to tap into. Can you give a bit of insight as to what that looks like going forward for the business?
Yeah, well, we started with the audio video world, which we actually been focusing on the Pro AV, where the need was a lot very clear. We were in a blue ocean I wouldn't say blue ocean, a blue lake. It is a small market, which we take a very big part of this market. This market, this particular market where we started for, is now going into larger by itself, larger market, because from large conference room, large video distribution, we see the market is growing towards small business room, a small conference room, and even what's called huddle room. The manager's room that are 2 or 3 people sitting in each side and want to speak each other with the TV and the camera. This is the fastest growing market estimated. It's estimated by the camera manufacturers at about 100 million huddle rooms in the world that are waiting for a solution. And the solution should be how to connect the camera to the person that is sitting on the table without compromising on the resolution, on the bandwidth, and on the quality, and at the same time using the TV on top. There are solutions to do today, which will take a lot of cables, a lot of power, and are very inefficient. So we're going here from a market which we are the only solution to a market that there are some incumbent way to do it, but they are very cumbersome and inefficient, and we are penetrating into this market in a very efficient, simple, and very uncostly way with our new chip. So this is one way to scale, is from the high-end conference room to the, I wouldn't call it low-end, but to the smaller and more modest conference room, what's called huddle and small conference rooms. Other market is the what's called industry, machine vision in the industry, industrial machine. There are 6.7 million cameras which are produced every year for industrial purposes, to monitor lines, to even today they are used to what is called binning. That's the same line, sorts all the goods that are going out of the line to different quality by the very end, by when it was produced. It can be in the agriculture industry, how to sort whatever, oranges or eggs, and it can be even in the metal industry, that can sort screws by the quality and how perfect they are, and many other industries. Not all the output of the factory is identical, and it's not 1 or 0. It's not either throw it away or sell it. It can have different level of quality with different prices. There are several applications in this industry, which each of them require a lot of cameras that are aggregating all the information in one place. Today, they will either have a very short line between the camera and the computer, or a very expensive line, and long line, meaning that might cost even more than the camera itself.
Right. Yeah.
What Valens bring here is, again, a very simple, very easy to install, and ability to design the factory differently from scratch. Saying we're not limited with flexibility how to design the factory. We have our ability to design it as we want, and this is the capability of the machine vision. We also are doing some of the extenders ourselves, so we're actually touching a little bit the world of system in a way that bring us to the market faster. We're looking at acquisitions, and for us, acquisition is not revenue acquisition. It's a synergy acquisition. Is how our company plus another company together brings more, and this is actually what we do. This is the markets we're looking for, and of course, the automotive. Last but not least is the world of endoscopy. This is a market which we don't even give it as a forecast, because it's very new. It came to us. We can't say that we are those who started it. And this market is a market that driven by the FDA, who claims that most of the infections in hospitals are due to minimal invasive surgeries. And they want to move to a different methods and to one-time use. There is, and this is a market which we have a very unique technology, which is the same technology we sell to the automotive with any change, and can enable single use, very simple use, and even some tricks to improve the image that the surgeon looks through when he's making the minimal invasive procedure. So these are the markets.
Perfect. Yeah, of course. So you mentioned video conferencing, machine vision, and medical. They're the key markets that you're looking at. And then also, as you mentioned, synergies, combining two companies, two businesses, and trying to get the most out of what both can produce, right? Interestingly, we had a registrant put forward a question. You touched on it just then. It was, can you elaborate on the endoscopy opportunity that you recently indicated that was probable, and how that might add to the 5-year target, the 5-year revenue plan? So I know you touched on it just then. You might want to go into a bit more depth.
Yeah, sure. First, it is not part of the plan. in our plan, we have things which are an upside, potential upside. If they happen, we're very happy, but we don't depend in our numbers. Our numbers are not depend on achieving this. The upside in the endoscopy, endoscopy is because of two different reasons. One of them, as I mentioned, is the reason of the ability to use a single-use endoscopy, single-use probe, the part of the that goes inside the body. The machine itself is outside and it's not replaceable every time. It's only the probe that is replaced. And the other upside is that today, it's a little bit abstract, but today there is a lot of electricity inside the body, which sometimes makes that the surgeon is missing frames. He sees and then he starts to solder or to change it to cut, and then the image disappears because of his own operation with the electricity. The way to overcome it is to make the sensor very remote from the lens itself. So the result is a lot of them would be able to look inside like through a straw, that you have a small straw. Once you're able to take the sensor all the way and attach it to the lens itself, you can have the whole angle inside. But for this purpose, you have to take care of all the noise and the electromagnetic noise that is created because of the surgery itself. And so this is a second, and maybe the first upside that is given to the surgery and the change in this industry. It's a slow industry. It's more have the mannerism of automotive than the world of consumer electronic or regular electronic that we see in the houses.
Yeah, so it's slower, it's a bit more emerging, but it sounds like it could be incredible as well. Now, you recently referred to electromagnetic interference as a hidden enemy for automakers. Now, can you explain why this is a growing challenge for OEMs going forward?
Again, please, can you please
So
repeat the question?
you mentioned that electromagnetic interference was a bit of a a hidden enemy for chip makers. So what's your I guess what's your viewpoint on that?
Electromagnetic is a noise. Electromagnetic is and it has also a very interesting non-linear impact. If you have a line that they need to take through 2 gigabits per second, and you can handle the electromagnetic, like if you remember the rain before, the rain example before, and you move from 2 gigabit to 4 gigabit, the exposure to the influence is not double. It's not double like the bandwidth is double. The electromagnetic influence might be 10 times more. It's a non-linear phenomena. And then when you have 10 times more, you need far different way in order to resolve the electromagnetic influence. In a nutshell, that's what we do. I don't know if I answered the exact question, but if I not, please reiterate the question.
No, that's good. That's perfect. That's perfect. And I know Valens technology forms the basis of an industry standard. Now, you might need to help me with the pronunciation. Is it A-PHY or A-PHY?
No, A-PHY. PHY is a PHY is a physical layer. That's how it's called in the industry.
Yeah.
And A-PHY is the physical layer that's done by MIPI. MIPI is a standard organization. All our cell phones, without exception, all the way video is going in is using the standards which were created by MIPI. It's a very well-known and big standard organization that some years ago they decided to move into the automotive. They made the world bid, and all the big names you would imagine competed, and we were a small company from Israel that won the bid.
Of course.
And the reason we won the bid is definitely because we presented something that solves what they predicted will be the problem. I must say that when they did it, some people thought that electromagnetic will not be the problem. In the beginning, we even heard some cynicism like, you have a problem looking for a solution. Today, no one say this sentence because today every experiment shows that you just go near a cellular antenna and you have no link, or above a bridge or near a big truck, or even your own electromagnetic inside your own car can make the link break. The speeds and the amount of data needed today to prevent accidents created a lot of bandwidth inside the car, and a lot of bandwidth is a lot of electromagnetic influence.
Okay, so that it's obviously focusing on the electromagnetic, I guess, compatibility and performance, of course.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about Valens's design wins. So I understand you recently achieved three design wins for the A-PHY compliant chipsets. Can you share a bit more details about that and obviously what that means for the future of in-vehicle electronic design?
Yeah, well, the nature of the automotive industry is to work with large company, incumbent technology, and not to make change. We cannot win in points. When we win in Valens, we win only when there is a clear knockout of differences between us and others. Mm-hmm. And this was the first timing that the world faced the need for electromagnetic resilience. And once they looked into the experiments and started, we knew that there is a good chance to win. And the more time progressed, and in automotive, everything goes very slow. We call it geological timing. Then it became clear that we're winning, and then we won. We cannot give the names. Automotive industry is very reluctant to speak about tier twos. They hardly speak about the tier one names. And we're tier two. We are working under ADAS and under the cameras on both sides. Yeah. And that's what we do, but the design wins there are very blunt and very clear.
Fantastic. And Gideon, I don't have any more questions. I'm going to hand it over to all of our attendees. If we've got any questions, please put it in the Q&A. I guess my last question, it's a question I ask most webinars, is obviously as a CEO, what do you think going forward? I mean, we're in a new calendar year. We've got new ambitions, new goals. What are you most excited for Valens going forward for this year?
Well, I'm excited from the fact that we're a company that does it ourselves, that we're not one of those companies just looking for someone to come to buy us. Mm-hmm. And that we are growing. That's like all the industry that went through a terrible 2024, we use this year in order to create change and growth. And I'm excited about I would say the DNA of the company. It's a company that is eager for excellence. We don't do a lot of chips, but each of the chip Valens did and do is world leader in its category, and not a price leader, a quality, sophistication leader. And all our sales are for those who appreciate this quality and need the quality. In the automotive, we need to go also to be price competitive. But as I said, we're not a price leader and will never be a price leader. We will be a quality leader. Funny enough, when you speak to a company like automotive, we bring more expensive chips that save them money on the whole system, because then can use cheaper cables and cheaper connectors, because we're able to take care of all the noise. So if you ask what I'm looking for and what I'm proud of is the DNA of this company that put excellence as a very, very big value.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. That's an excellent answer. Quality over quantity and obviously excellence going forward. Now we've got a question in the Q&A, which is fantastic, from Kevin. Who is manufacturing the physical chips?
Please?
Who is manufacturing the physical chips?
It's TSMC.
TSC, sorry?
TSMC, Taiwan.
TSMC, perfect. Very good. Well, look, Gideon, that's all for today. That's fantastic. Thank you for your time. As I mentioned, it's very exciting for Sharewise, obviously a small stockbroking firm based in Sydney, Australia, to have this exposure to now US listed stocks and companies. So thank you very much. And I look forward to keeping a very close eye on the share price, of course, but obviously the business and all the announcements coming out this year and beyond. So I appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you for your audience.
Thank you very much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.